Hi guys, it's Micah. Um, I'm really sorry my voice sounds really awful. I think I'm losing it. My voice, not my mind. Um, I wanted to make a video explaining the ending of Iris for those of you who read it. I was gonna make it a couple days ago, but I got distracted by Slender Man. So this is like take 2 of this video. This is my kitten Emma. Emma, no, come on. She's a cutie. Come on, look at the camera. There you go. Here's a good girl. I'm gonna take a little bit of time to talk about Iris. This is probably the only talking I'll be doing today just because my voice is so awful and I can't sing. And I always sing when I write. So, yeah. I'm taking a break from Glee to talk to you, so you know that this is a serious conversation. There's the baby. So I don't know how many of you have read Iris, but it's my baby. And I wrote it all in a month. And I knew that from the beginning it would be a tragedy. I knew that it was wasn't gonna end conclusively. And I decided that I was just gonna, write the story I wanted to write. So I decided I was gonna make it an ending that no one would expect. I'm pretty sure none of you expected it to end inconclusively the way it did. Stop eating that, Emma. Come on. Because I knew from the beginning that Juniper was gonna die. I'm still in my pajamas, so if that's weird, I'm sorry. I knew that Juniper was gonna die from the beginning. I wrote the first chapter and I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be awful. No one will like it. It's gonna suck. I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna trash the story like I always do. Because I've never actually finished an original fiction before. So this was something completely new to me. But I knew the ending chapter. Emma! I knew the ending chapter was going to be the same as the beginning chapter. And I knew that Juniper was going to die from the beginning. I didn't know why. I didn't know how. I didn't know the circumstances. I didn't know anything about it until I got to like the last 4 chapters because I really didn't plan Iris that well. I planned the characters. And I basically planned the characters, had a basic plot, and I knew a little bit about Felix and Iris' relationship, but I didn't know how far and how deep the story was going to be. It turned out a lot deeper than I expected. But anyways, I rewrote at least 4 different endings for Iris before I settled on the one I did. The other 2, one of them ended, it had like a massive 2-year time skip, and it had Iris and Felix getting married and Juniper as their flower girl. And I ended up having to rewrite the first chapter and most of the story to fit that. But I didn't do that because I don't necessarily like happy endings. In some of my stories, you can probably see that. But I wanted the story to be different because I've never read a story where it just cuts off. I've never read a story where one of the characters dies and there's no explanation, there's no follow-up, there's no epilogue, there's nothing. And I wanted to try that. The second ending I wrote was I wrote the last chapter, the one where Juniper drowns and Felix tries to go rescue her. And then the last chapter is the epilogue, and it's at Juniper's funeral, and it's Felix's dad apologizing after everyone tells him, Felix's dad, that Felix tried to rescue Juniper from the ocean. I didn't like that after I wrote it because it wasn't consistent with the characters and the plotline, because Felix's dad would never apologize for that. He would never understand or, believe what happened. So I scrapped that idea. The third idea was Felix leaving Iris. He ended up blaming Iris for Juniper's death. You know, it was her idea to take him to the beach. And he broke up with her and, you know, left her in the dirt. And I was like, that's not consistent with how Felix would act. So what the heck am I going to do? And I was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the chapter as it is, and I'm going to, you know, let the readers come up with whatever ending they want. So if you saw that, you know, Felix and Iris got married in the end, great. If you saw Felix's dad apologizing, great. If you saw Felix breaking up with Iris, which I don't think any of you did because a lot of you ship Felix and Iris, which is perfect because I ship them so hard. They're my favorite OTP, fictional OTP. Besides Bailey and Zane and Kate's story, on the Kate's story, something like Fate. That Bailey and Zane are just perfect. Oh, and Soledad and Liam ship them too. But anyways, my personal OTP for my stories. I know that it was kind of a rushed ending, and it seems like it doesn't make sense, but it was the only ending out of all four that made sense to me. Like, it was the only one that I came up with that I was like, I feel comfortable leaving this story. And as soon as I wrote it, I'm like, no one's gonna like this. Everyone's gonna hate it. And that's why I had the author's note on the last chapter. I was really terrified that you guys would hate me and be like, this story is crap. Why the heck did you end it like that? So this is my explanation blog for it. It's kind of long, and it's going to get longer because I want to explain the next two stories, because I don't think I've done many explanations on that. I've decided to make it a trilogy, or maybe just a series, you know, more, but for now it's a trilogy. I've decided that they're going to be different stories. Like, they won't continue Felix or Iris' story. I think that Felix and Iris' story ended perfectly, and I don't want to change the way it is right now. The next story is Rose, and I don't really want to tell you about it because I want it to be kind of a secret, but you just need to know that the original characters, Felix and Iris, will appear briefly in the next two stories. The next one is called Rose, and the third one's called Daisy. Oh, Lord. And they're gonna be really good. I've done so much planning on Rose. Like, I haven't really done much on Daisy just because I have to finish Rose first before I can think about Daisy. But I think Daisy is gonna be quite a bit darker than Rose is. Iris is not that dark if you think about it. There's not a whole lot of depth to it, but Rose is gonna have a depth. And it's going to be pretty dark. It's going to be considerably darker than Iris was, and Daisy's going to be pretty dark and pretty deep, and it's going to reflect a lot of different themes that I've noticed in my life and the people around me in their lives. So, now what? Oh, I started writing Rose the other day, and I noticed that the beginning chapter of what I wrote for Rose could also work for Daisy, so I'm kind of struggling with that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, like if you have any questions about how I ended Iris, I think I did a pretty good job explaining why I ended it the way I did. If you have any questions about my writing process, how I'm planning Rose or Daisy, or you want a little sneak peek of the plot, you can PM me and maybe I'll make another video with the sneak peeks and stuff. So I'm gonna stop talking because my voice is getting worse, and I really want to watch Glee because I have a major crush on Blaine. It's currently like 12 degrees in Idaho, and I'm still in my pajamas. So that's it. Love you guys.